Tonight we're going to have a short masterclass, and I think everyone here present would agree we are in the presence of a master of cinema.
He said, no, you don't want to be an actor. He said, with your voice, you should be a singer, an opera singer. Come to the opera tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, and I will be there. And you just stand on the stage, no music, nothing. Just want to hear the sound of your voice. I used to go to the studios. I used to watch the great directors like David Lean, Carol Reed. David Lean did Lawrence of Arabia and so on. And I would watch the great actors, some of whom you may know, James Mason and people like that. So I learned also by watching, but nothing really happened. They want a very tall man. And I said, what is the name of the company and what is the part? And they said, the name of the company is Hammer. And the part is the creature of Frankenstein. I didn't speak.
More than perhaps any other actor, you have played famous figures from literature. I think you're the only person in history to have played both brothers of Sherlock Holmes, though not at the same time.
You could do that today, but...
Which of the literary figures do you have the most affection for, of the ones you've portrayed?
Literary?
Based on the books or legends.
That's a very difficult question. I've made nearly 300 films. Okay, for the cinema and for television. It's a very difficult question to answer. I remember them all. Some I want to forget. But literary figure, person who existed, you mean?
No, a person from the book. I mean, from the best books, perhaps a Tolkien character?
Ah, of course. Some of you may be wondering why I don't have this beard. And the reason is very simple. I usually do have a beard. It covers up the bad parts of my face. But when I just finished 10 days ago, Hobbit and the second one, they're doing two at the same time, and I did 4 days for 2 films. I had to shave my beard because they had to put on this big moustache and this long beard. So when I've done more sword fights, I hold a world record. And Errol Flynn's, I don't know the name, that's Errol Flynn. Nearly cut my finger off, but it was after lunch. After his lunch.
A liquid lunch, probably.
Do be careful, don't play games. Because when we did the Musketeers, we had real swords and real daggers. And I had 4 very big fights. The last one in particular with Michael York in the cathedral. And then it was extremely dangerous. You only had to make one mistake and blood everywhere. So you really had to be careful. Yeah. I just finished a film with 3 directors. Martin Scorsese in a film called Hugo Cabret, Peter Jackson, The Hobbit and the second film, and Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. I didn't do a great deal. because I can't run. Can't run about anymore. I think the best film I've ever been in, although it was cut and cut and cut and cut, was The Wicker Man. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Star Wars.
You mean the fight?
Yeah, the fight, the whole role, and the whole experience.
Well, of course, I'd seen the other film, the other ones. They made them in, they didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They went whatever the numbers were. And I was in the Czech Republic doing a couple of weeks in television film called Young Indy. And George was, of course, wasn't there, but it was his series. And when he saw me, I mean, he knew me, we'd met. I think he'd seen quite a lot of my movies. When he saw this film, he said, "That is the man I want to play Count Dooku." Now, the only problem when you're playing what we call blue screen, green screen, computer-generated image, CGI, I don't know what that is. I'm afraid it's Slovenian, but that's what we call it, is that I had this big fight with Yoda, who was this big, and he wasn't there. Nobody was there. There was the camera, there was George, I had this lightsaber. He said, "No, up there, down there, over there, over there." So I just came, psh, 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 everything. Doing all these big sword movements, up and down, across, round, over there, up there, down there. And it was a remarkable fight. And people remember that very well. But it was not as dangerous as the Musketeers. I can tell you a story about that, because the man, the actor, sadly, is not with us anymore. He died. I knew him very well when he started. He was thin and nervous. Thought maybe he shouldn't be an actor. And I tried to encourage him. Eventually he became a very good actor. A very, very good actor. His name was Oliver Reed. And in the film The Three Musketeers, he and I had a big sword fight. And the place was on fire, and there were sheep all over the place, so you could fall forwards, backwards, anywhere. And I only had one eye, so I couldn't see anything coming from over there. So we rehearsed it and rehearsed it and rehearsed it. We said, "Now we'll do it." Now I knew Oliver very well indeed. I knew sometimes when he got involved in something physical, it got a little bit out of hand, and things were not what we'd rehearsed. So I was kind of, my head a bit like that. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the fight, I see this sword coming straight at my head like an axe. And I stopped. And the director said, "Why do you stop?" I said, "Because that's not what we have rehearsed, and that's dangerous." So he said, "Do it again." We did it again, towards me again, and I stopped again. And I said, "Oliver, who taught you to use a saw? And he said, you did. And I said, don't forget that.
Like every great artist, I want to create an indisputable masterpiece once in my lifetime.
I'll use it anyway. I was very amused to see that scene from A Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, because I'm the only actor who has played Sherlock Holmes and his brother Mycroft. And to get that makeup took 2 hours. Everybody said it was me. It was not. It was a wig, and it took 2 hours. So, I made a film with Chuck Norris. I did, and I'm still here. Oh, by the way, I must apologize for the thunderstorms.